out there, YouTube land? This is Morris Man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel and the ongoing support and subscriptions. I really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to do a short video, and it's entitled "Some of My Favorite Bands." I'm not going to entitle it "The Best of" or "The Top 10" because if I do, I get a ton of comments saying, "Why isn't this band on the list?" and "Why is this band on the list?" So again, I'm going to play it safe and give you some of my personal favorite bands. And first on the list is Earth, Wind & Fire. I mean, what can you say about Earth, Wind & Fire? Great vocal band, great writers, great producers, unbelievable musicians. And what I love about Earth, Wind & Fire was not only they were a great quote-unquote band, but I love their image. They were very spiritual. You know, you never read in tabloid magazines or trade magazines as far as drug use or anything kind of out of the ordinary or the typical entertainer's behavior or, you know, anybody within the band having a problem with anybody else in the band. They were a very solid group, you know, from that aspect as well as the musical aspect. So they were great role models as well. And that's what I loved about them. And what I loved also about them was they didn't write simple songs. You know, if you was going to step to an Earth, Wind & Fire song, you better do your homework and rehearse and practice because, again, the stuff that they did, they changed keys within a lot of their songs, the lavish arrangements, the accents, you know, all of those were, you know, a part of their sound. So, you know, they made us better musicians when we tried to cover their material. And we appreciate the contributions that they have given, you know, to the music industry. We really appreciate you guys. Next on the list is the Brothers Johnson. One of the few bands that when I was younger growing up, and if I walked past the record shop and I seen their album, I would go immediately in and buy it without even hearing it because I knew every Brothers Johnson album that they put out were going to be detailed with a lot of great songs. And you know you're great songwriters and producers when Quincy Jones tap you on the shoulder and say, "Let's go." They were working with Quincy Jones when they were literally teenagers. And they wrote a lot of stuff that appeared on the Quincy Jones albums. And they toured with Quincy Jones. And of course, the legendary bass player Larry Lewis Johnson. So definitely made the list. Another group on the list is kind of an obscure group, and I mentioned them before, T-Connection. T-Connection was one of those groups that they kind of flew under the radar for many years, but they wrote really great songs. They were a really good tight band. Their bass player, Kurt Coakley, one of my favorite all-time favorite bass players. When you listen to him play, he had the ability to put these notes in between the main notes and not give too much, you know. I love his bass playing. And his brother was the lead vocalist in that group and the piano player. And you could tell he was classically trained because there's a song on one of the albums called "Prisoner of My Mind." And at the beginning, this brother's kind of playing like a classical piece. Then he goes kind of into the R&B soul thing. So they were a very unique band. And a lot of people, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to enjoy them because, again, they kind of flew under the radar back in the late 70s, early 80s. They had two big hits, After Midnight, and then You Get the Best of My Love, which is one of my favorite ballads. I love to play that song. And I'm going to do a cover of that coming up very soon. Next on the list is Utopia, headed up by Ty Rundgren. Now, Utopia consists of 4 band members. And what I love about that group is I call them the super group within the group because here is 4 guys that they all sang lead very well. And they all had lead vocal chores or, you know, they switched up